Start the party!
Hello guys, it's your boy Roy, and this is gonna be chapter 1, fresh S rank. We're gonna start off with probably the most annoying fight of the bunch, because every time you die here or screw up, you gotta restart the entire chapter, because you don't have any nano paste, so you're not gonna survive a single blow here. And I did want to do it a bit stylishly, so we're gonna be killing the Mastiff here with just dodges. You can instantly perfect parry, like the overhead slash is really easy. We're going to use mostly forward dodges, just to toy around with them a little, to show just what's possible with the Mastiffs. These are the most hated enemies of the bunch. Like, they can really royally screw up your game due to not necessarily their moveset, but mostly when they're in groups, they'll destroy the camera in their favor. So that's not a good time. This is going to be first fight. Nice S rank, clean fight, no damage. Almost a 50 hit combo, which is pretty good. I also added a few extra rules. Well, actually one. This is also going to be a naked and unloved playthrough, which means I'm not allowed to upgrade health or fuel, which will make a lot of things a bit harder since I don't have any extra fuel. So, less Ripper. Now, I'm also going to try and show all the data storage locations and VR mission locations, if I can remember them. There's one up right here at the chandelier. You just gotta cut it down. But this chapter was pretty intense. Like, especially here, you don't have the equipment the game thinks you're gonna have. You don't have a Murasama or pincers or pole arm or even Sai. So you're gonna get this, well, not destroyed, but some fights are legitimately a lot harder, especially the hammerheads. And we're going to have to really manage our BP well, so we get the correct upgrades that we're really weird ninja running. To get the correct upgrades at the right time. Our first priority is going to collect enough BP to buy Falling Lightning, which is the lightning kick. And we're going to do this by getting high combos. And preferably cutting off certain limbs. For instance, if you cut off a head, you get I think it's 200 extra BP, and with left arm, right arm, and legs, you get another 50 to 100 BP each. So if you cut correctly, you can get a sizable amount of BP, but with a small fuel meter that we have, that's not going to be happening. Now we're going to quickly stealth past this section here, so we can save the guy and get some extra BP. If you fully stealth a situation in which there is no ranking possible, and even if there is a ranking possible, so just stealth kill the entire scene, you get an extra BP amount, which can vary between a couple of hundred. Cut off the right arm and the head, and drops another 500 BP for me. You get a small little bonus for fully stealthing it. But it can go from like 400 to, well, here, 3000 BP, which can help intensely. And we cut off his clothes, which is always fun. I always like that Easter egg. That was already in the demo. That was good stuff. I'm going to quickly scour the area for clues. No, not necessarily clues. I'm just going to look around for grenades and nano paste, because if you have maximum amount of BP, well, of equipment, you get BP instead of the equipment you just picked up, which is handy for extra BP, because again we're going to need to upgrade our character fast here. That being said, so far this run has been pretty fun. First chapter, it's pretty, as I said, pretty difficult, but it's still doable. The final boss will make us cry, or make me cry, and you will see that in a moment, as in about half an hour. As this video is pretty long. This is one of the longest chapters in the game. And to prepare for the next fight, which is pretty damn difficult as well, because we're going to be dealing with 2 soldiers, 2 customs, which are the ones with long swords. The long swords. Well, actually they're pretty long for long swords. And a gecko. And we're going to need the air parry, because we're going to be airborne quite a few moments. And Sky High is also a must buy. Sky High is our uppercut. And if we want to buy Falling Lightning, we're gonna have to buy a couple of moves before that. First phase of this fight is pretty pretty standard. Just run around until he does his bull rush, which he thankfully does at start. Mash the button and quickly execute for an easy kill. Sometimes, if you're really lucky, during the execution, a couple of enemies might be standing next to his legs, and you can cut them up as well, giving you a nice, well, instant death for the rest of the enemies, which is really safe. This fight, is about lining up the enemies. You gotta get them in a line and then just abuse this move, and that's why we need the air parry. I screwed that up a couple of times by not having that, which is why I bought it. Whenever these guys start their attack rush, you can instantly dodge out of the parries if things are getting a bit too hairy. But one-on-one, you can just start a parry war, which means that you parry their parry, they parry your parry, so they parry your parry, and you parry the parry with parry. And preferably you kill them. Now, if this were any other run, I just run away right now, which did occur to me, and then I suddenly thought, wait, that's probably going to screw up my ranking. Because if you run away against an enemy which has lost 1 or 2 limbs, they will vanish. They will activate their cloaking mechanisms, which they never use offensively, which I always thought to be a bit weird. And you'll get a no-kill bonus, unless, of course, you killed a couple of other soldiers like we did. Building a nice combo here. And Zandatsu for the finish. Easy S rank. And it sounds real easy, but this was like the 5th try. This fight can be pretty hairy, especially the first phase, because you really got to get lucky that the Gecko starts off with a bull rush. Now we're going to quickly grab an data storage up here. And if we get enough data storages, we can unlock the machete, which we won't be using. It's one of my favorite weapons, but it's just horrible. It's got decreased range, and I mean half, almost. Decreased damage, all that for a slight speed upgrade. Now this part we can stealth, as in stealth kill, but we're just gonna run past them. There's a couple of custom cyborgs here with rocket launchers and 2 geckos, which can be a nightmare on any type of run. And we're gonna run up to our first boss fight, as in not tutorial boss fight, Blade Wolf. All players who have played against Blade Wolf know that he can be either ridiculously hard or ridiculously easy. First time you're gonna fight him in playing this game, he's gonna demolish you, unless you've played the demo. As he's sort of a beginner's test to see if you're good enough at the whole parry mechanic, which we of course are. But on a fresh Revengeance, he can be a bit tricky. He's got a couple of attacks. First one is his rush, which can be easily perfect parried, as you just saw there. And afterwards he can be stunned. You won't see me use it here because I didn't feel like it, but you can also use T delay S, T being heavy, S being... I should just use normal anagrams. Heavy, delay, weak, or light, to trip him on the ground, and then you can use a sky high to juggle him in the air and do a nice fancy little air combo. But aside from his assault rush, he'll also summon soldiers, which is the first phase transition. Just perfect parry, activate blade mode, and pray you get one Zandatsu. Now with that Zandatsu out of the way, just get a nice little juggle. Need to fight Ben. If you have pincers, you can just start charging your pincers over here. If not, you can try and do another combo. This is his side swing. He's got a side swing, a forward swing, and a triple swing. This is triple. You can easily dodge that or just parry it, but dodging gives extra damage. And allows you to get some dodge offset in. Assault rush again. Try not to be too close to him when he does that, or too far away, as it might screw up the perfect parry. Sometimes he'll stop the assault rush just in front of you, and you'll be standing there parrying, and he'll kick your ass. And if it's too close, you just can't perfect parry it. At least not consistently. Standard flow fight. I always like Blade Wolf, though I'm sort of disappointed that even in the PC version, they didn't implement the SAM turbo mode. Basically, when playing a SAM, every enemy has about a 20% speed increase. And I think that's a nice little improvement over the whole Devil May Cry turbo system. In Devil May Cry, if you activate a turbo, this is just flowchart. He usually starts off with Bull Rush, yeah. In DMC, if turbo mode was activated, the entire game would just speed up by about 20%. And in the Sam campaign, only the enemies got that speed upgrade, which made for a pretty interesting fight, as a lot of speedy enemies, which were kind of fast, but still not as deadly against Raiden, were godlike in speed against Sam, making for really intense battles. Blade Wolf is intense. Here you see me, what I talked about. Don't be too far away from his Assault Rush. If you have Stinger, you can use that. Be real careful with the barrels. I didn't have it happen to me here, but on previous playthroughs, I screwed up no damage runs by accidentally hitting one of those barrels. No, just normal. Because they'll explode and you'll get like 5%, but that's enough here. I was really scared right there. And now we just kill the Blade Wolf. Get some quick slashes in for a higher combo. And we're done. But yeah, they really should have added that turbo mode. Maybe modders will be able to put it in. I don't know. Would be a nice addition. Hell, I just want to play a Sam in Raiden's campaign. That would be freaking brutal. Yay, more tutorials. Now we're gonna quickly head back and get our nice little data storage. Yeah. Get that artwork. A nice little bonus tip for those who want achievements. If your fuel gauge, as mine is right now, is empty, you can get a couple of new codec conversations with Herr Doctor. And those are quite rare. Alright, this is Falling Lightning, and we're gonna need this to be able to S-rank our next engagement, as the rules of this playthrough are, first off, Naked and Unloved, and second of all, is going to be no Subweapons. No, I can't buy that upgrade yet. It's quite disappointing, because that upgrade, strength upgrade, is really necessary for the next fight, or else it'll take way too long, so it's gonna take way too long right now. I could really screw up with this fight and just touring around, because it's not ranked. And this is where I encountered a neat little bug. I screwed up my controller input. So, I was able to input my controls, like my commands, with the controller, but the PC thought I was still using mouse and keyboard, which is why you see the F key. And this also resulted in camera glitches, me being unable to almost control blade mode. Like, the controls of it were really twisted. And later on, you won't see, like for instance over there, I just suddenly started attacking in the air. Like, random things would happen. Eventually, down the line, here for instance, again, mash right mouse, what? No. By mind, I know that I just have to mash heavy, but later on, I don't think that's in this in this video, but I was able to just ninja run block bullets standing still, for instance. And I tried to replicate it, but I wasn't able to. Now this fight has a couple of design choices that you have to make. Design choices, stupid word. You gotta wait for him to glow red, which means he's gonna fire his missiles, which will force him to stand still for a couple of moments, allowing you to do a quick flurry of blows. And quickly get up there. And you're gonna try and aim him in such a way that he fires the missiles towards one of these unbreakable pillars and not towards the bridge, which you're gonna need. As without the bridge, the fight will become a lot harder to no damage. Especially because you can't really reach him. If you want extra damage and don't mind not getting the no damage tag, you can, when he's firing his missiles, jump up and slash those missiles with regular light attacks. You'll hit him, but you'll also hit the missiles, making them explode in his face, dealing pretty good damage to him, which is a neat way to stylishly disable him. If you're doing a normal S-rank run in this fight, don't even bother attacking him. Equip the Sai, throw the Sai at him, and during the grapple attack, activate Ripper. It'll deal near 80% damage and will just blow him up. Yeah, hell, if you have the Fox Blade, one hit will do it. That being said, Fox Blade is a cheating item, as are the wigs, in my opinion. The wigs give you added abilities. One gives you infinite fuel, which is borderline game breaking. The others give you infinite subweapons. Not that game breaking, but actually quite handy at times to just toy around. And the other one makes it so that every blade mode attack has the Grey Fox function, meaning it can cut up everything in one slice, which is fun to toy around with again, but it's sort of cheating. And it always surprised me that in every Platinum game, when they have overpowered items, and even with their older games like Devil May Cry, it would give a big decrease in rank. But in this game, I suddenly had a small heart attack. Like, I thought I wasn't recording, but I saw the stop button, so I'm okay. But in this game, like, you don't get a score decrease or anything. It's just, you can just get a high score with it. If you share it on the internet, and people will be like, yeah, it's impressive. You got full S rank with Foxblade and Wig B. Congrats. No, that's not gonna happen. But if you just want the achievements, it's an easy way to get it. If you want to challenge yourself, there's runs like this or other runs that I've got on my channel. At the same time, I'm also working on Way of the Blade, which is no fuel and stun blade only on upgraded stun blade. This fight was quite intense with that because you don't have any blade mode, so you're not allowed to blade mode him at the end as well, which was quite problematic without Subweapons, but pretty fun. And now we just gotta get close. He's blue, so we can cut him open. Get close, activate blade mode, which I can't right now because my fuel gauge is empty. And there we almost, and there we go. If you're really unlucky, he can fly away. He's got a special fly away ability in which the hammerhead will fly away with full invincibility frames, which is not cool. Favorite move. Again, not really the best fight we're gonna do here. We're just gonna quickly kill these enemies unstylishly. We're gonna get a lot of damage, that's for sure. Looking back, this was quite stupid, as if I just no damage this, I would've got a no damage tag on my chapter finish, which is always handy to have. It gives you about, I think, 5,000 extra BP, or 10,000. That being said, at the end of the chapter, we're going to be real good on BP, so that's going to be good. Standard slider fight. This is where the Naked and Unloved is going to shine a bit in its difficulty, as sliders are notoriously hard to blade mode, especially with little fuel. So you're going to just have to try and have enough fuel to activate blade mode against them, and just hack away like mad. Quick nano paste over here. Now we're gonna go up the buildings and get our first electrolyte pack. Electrolyte packs, when activated, will fully regenerate your fuel, for those who don't know, or never use them, because I never do. And there's VR number 2, which I think is the Zandatsu mission. It's pretty fun how, I think it's VR 1, which is usually considered to be one of the hardest to get first place on due to the intense timing, which is pretty fun. Now we gotta go back and get ID data and get the left hand, and it's very important that we do for full S rank. Not getting the ID hand will mean we have to cut open the door, which will make added enemies spawn. There's gonna be 2 extra rocket soldiers on the roof. Get a little screwed up by camera here. And if that happens, getting S rank over there is going to be a lot more difficult, as those quickly cut off his head. But I don't think I get the head bonus. No, I don't. But I do get a nice 2000 BP for full stealth. But yeah, if those extra 2 soldiers spawn, that fight's going to be a lot more difficult. Carefully cut off his head. Left hand, yeah. But yeah, that's going to be pretty hard, so we're not going to do that. We carefully cut off his hand, we're completely safe. we're gonna go back to customize, I think. What are we gonna buy? I think it's Palm Strike. We're gonna... Oh no, the damage upgrade. Yeah. You can get 1 damage upgrade in Chapter 1, and I think the next one's available in Chapter 3. Not in Chapter 2, for some reason, which hurts my soul, because Chapter 2 is a nightmare. I think it's the hardest chapter in the game. In any run. There's a lot of hard fights. Triple Raptor, Triple Mastiff with a Raptor, and down the line 2 Grads, which isn't a fun time. Now this fight may seem hard to S-rank at first, because getting no damage here is nearly impossible. What you want to do is just cut off that guy's legs, run around a bit, and he will disappear. He's the only humanoid enemy in this fight, which means you will get the no kills bonus of 1500 points, which means if you just get 1 Zandatsu and about a 10-hit combo, you've got an S rank in your hands. Some fights like this one, and for instance the later on Monsoon fight, people think they're a lot harder to S rank than they actually are. For instance, Monsoon has ridiculously low requirements. You gotta beat him in, for instance, 7 minutes. If you're somewhat decent, you can get it in 4 or 5. You gotta get 1000 BP, which is insanely easy. And you've got to get a 35 hit combo, which can be done in the ending QTE. There's no Zandatsus, you always get 1 kill. So you don't even need the no damage tag, even though Monsoon, at least for me, is quite easy to no damage. But that's just plain experience. He can be a nightmare to no damage to new players. Now we input the code, get into the door, and activate one of the harder fights to S-rank, even without the 2 rocket dudes. This is going to be a fight about spacing, especially due to our low fuel gauge. We want to run around, and we're going to try and isolate those 2 soldiers. Quickly Zandatsu, and then block dodge away, or parry dodge. That's a real flowchart. Get out of there. Parry dodging entails that you activate parry just to be safe and then instantly dodge out of this. What this does, it sort of realigns the camera for you. And can be really handy to sometimes even time certain dodges. For instance, what we'll later be doing against Mistral. Now this is an infinite combo on customs. It's heavy delay light, and then blade mode cancel. If you use... You can also do the heavy attack to end it up with, but this is faster. It also works against heavies, which are the Hammer Brothers, as I like to call them. Nice little Mario reference in my head. But they have to have at least 1 limb leg. 1 blue leg, I mean. And against other enemies that have armor, they have to be in a gun state for it to work. And what I mean with gun state, that might be handy to explain right now, while we scurry for more grenades to increase our BP. Gun stance, as I like to call it, is enemies have 2 stances. They have melee stance and gun stance. Melee stance means they have their melee weapon equipped, and gun stance means they have their ranged weapon equipped. Even raptors, those crocodile-like enemies, have gun stance, which means they'll stand still on tail legs and fire their rockets. Quick note, here's the first real left arm, and I miss it, but that's okay because I don't really care. But back to gun stance. This enemy, for instance, now is in gun stance. When in gun stance, they can't block, parry, or otherwise evade your moves. The trick, though, is that when an enemy activates a stance switch, which means he's switching between stances, he's already counting as melee stance. So that's pretty dang. Oh, this is a really cool parry in my opinion. Bam. So what that means is, if you, for instance, have a custom with a rocket launcher. Oh, this is a nice transition. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? Yeah, I'm really proud of that. Back to the stances, because this fight's quickly about this fight. Cut down the Ferris wheel on the gecko to kill him instantly. and then quickly Zandatsu these enemies, and then it's just a matter of run slashes and square spamming, and preferably a perfect parry against the Grad. The main tip, if he's mobile, is to run in the same clockwork's direction as he does. So if he's going from counterclockwise, you run counterclockwise, or else you get hit by his rocket barrages or turret shots. Back to the stance switching. If, for instance, we've got a custom using a rocket launcher and a longsword, if he's in his rocket stance, you can slide him, you can sky high him, you can stinger him to the ground, he won't be able to do anything about it. But if you get too close and he even starts the activation of his stance switching, which means he'll put the rocket launcher on his back and grab his sword, if he's only been in that animation for a frame and you try to slide him, he'll block it. He'll suddenly be able to block it. And this is really useful later on against, for instance, raptors, as they can really gang up on you, so you gotta run around and wait for them to enter their gun stance. And after the gun stance, you can just slide them to the ground and focus on the other enemies for a while. I think I don't get this Zandatsu here. I was really like, what? Okay. Because it's sort of right and kind of moved to the left. And that's again a nice, easy, no damage S rank. I think this was like my second try. So that went pretty good. For speedrunners out there, if you can actually speed up the ranking process. If you press jump, the entire ranking will be sped up. And if you then press action, the stealth kill button, you'll cancel out the entire thing afterwards. Which means if you quickly press jump, then action, you don't have to deal with the entire ranking process, which is handy for speedruns. Now again, a flowchart fight, you don't need to do this one. There's a left hand on one of these two guys. I don't get it. As in, I understand it, but I'm not gonna get the left hand because I think I screw something up over here. I get a perfect parry, that's it. And it kills them all. And it kills them both. Quickly flash a bit up and get a head and the left arm, which is nice. This upcoming fight is going to be against two hammerheads, which is our first introductional bonus fight. The first bonus fight that's actually told. It's not the first bonus fight, which is against the sliders. And this fight can be a bit tricky, as you constantly have to keep paying attention towards both hammerheads. Because one hit and this is pretty much over. Because you need to know damage, or else you're going to need about a 30 hit combo in a quick time. Now, while this one is flying away, the other one will start doing an assault rush. Be sure to parry that, or get lucky as I did over there. For us, this is just a flowchart miniature version of the previous engagement. If you want to be stylish, you can stand behind one of the choppers and let the other chopper kill the main one for you. And I actually get that to happen over here, which is always cool. I mean, team player. And starting from this moment on is just hack away. I'm glad these enemies aren't that much in the game. I think they appear once more after this, and that's it. And that's only if you fail to stealth a certain segment. Because they're just not really interesting enemies to fight. Especially later on when you get to Psy, they are completely trivialized. Here you see me running around a bit. I'm waiting for him to glow red. Because if he's not glowing red, he'll fly away in full invincibility before you get close. And you don't want that to happen. You want to kill him. You want to kill that son of a beach. I think the fight's getting near to an end here. Now he's stunned. I get a nice little combo on him here. I think you need about a 30 hit combo for a full 1000. Yeah, but I didn't get enough BP and I was way too slow. Now we're getting close to the factory, which is thankfully close to the end of this chapter. Blah blah blah. Boris talking Boris stuff. I'm gonna enter the factory, and inside the factory I'm gonna be triggering a lot of alarms on purpose to spawn some extra enemies to get some extra BP. I'm not gonna do it infinitely, like to grind BP. You can do that, but it's gonna take forever. I guess the dwarfs, if you don't mind boring combat, you can do what I'm doing right here and just ninja run slash them to death. They can't hit you while you're doing it. It screws their targeting up. Their grab attacks will always miss, and as will their normal attacks. Quickly 2 soldiers. Easy kill. Zandatsu. I'll never get tired of that animation. I remember a couple of people suggesting that we get in the sequel, please let there be one, that will get a nice little additional upgrade that will be able to speed up that animation, like you hold down the button. And I'd be okay with that, but I don't want it removed. Like, even after almost, I think I've put like what 400 or 500 hours into this game. Even after that animation still makes me go like, yeah, I'm a boss. That it makes you feel real good about yourself. Like, it's a real great reward scene. This is a real flowchart what we got right here. I get bored with it and almost get hit, which is not good. Yeah, up one of these crates is a nice little BP bonus. I think it's 500. I try to get up it stylishly, but I'm unsuccessful. And let me think. Oh yeah, going in here. If you let the first camera see you, you'll get a couple of dwarfs. So, and as you can see, they deal quite a lot of damage. That's 70%. Quickly deal with these guys. Now, how combos work in this game? The higher your combo counter, when the fight is over, you get an amount of BP based on that combo counter. For instance, I got a 26 combo here, and that will give me, with the spears, a 270 bonus. So it's usually around that level. I'm really scared over there. Guy almost hit me. This fight is also pretty easy because there's a lot of walls. I'm also a bit scared about geckos, as their normal attacks can ruin your day. I think I got hit here once. I think it's this one. Yeah, I screw up my parry because I wanted to perfect parry him, and he'll jump against the wall. Thusly, he will get hit real hard. Instant kill, and we're almost near Mistral. Screw up the Zandatsu almost, but yeah, it can happen. I don't think I've dealt with the camera yet. I mean the one up top. I'll quickly get the jamming grenade. This jamming grenade is here just for fun. Oh, I did deal with it. The way to deal with that camera is to cut down the pillar, and he'll just fall on the ground and be done with. I'm just gonna activate the enemies. Again, this is just flowchart stuff. I'm not looking forward to chapter 2 because, as I said, it's gonna be quite the hellhole of difficult fights and difficult enemies at the same time. Though thankfully, a lot of the fights are unranked. For instance, on my Raiden Must Die mode playthrough, I forced myself to do all the fights without stealth. And I got stuck on chapter 2 because there's a lot of fights over there that don't have rankings and can be stealthed, but have such insane amounts of enemies that they're just really hard to do on a fresh run. Dealing with 3 Mastiffs and a Raptor while only having your sword without upgrades is not a good time. And I didn't allow nano paste either at that run, so I got destroyed. Now the tactic here to clear the entire room is to avoid the cameras at first until you get upstairs. Because if you activate an alarm and then go downstairs, or if you just activate an alarm when you're downstairs, 2 extra customs will spawn. And I think I get that. I think I screw it up. If you want health packs, there's health upgrades. There's 1 to our left here. Just gotta cut open that ventilation shaft. I think that was actually the only one I missed on my main playthrough. Like when I first played this game, I was stuck at 190 health for about 4 to 5 playthroughs. Until I finally found this one. I hate cameras. They can really screw you over. Freaking hate those guys. Especially that one. I make a fatal mistake and I'm going down here. Which means the other 2 will spawn, I think. Will they? Cutting off his body parts so he just disappears. Oh. Or I proceed to brutally destroy him. Now. Now we're just gonna quickly walk up here and deal with those frickin' cameras. Or I'm just gonna be completely contradictory. Grab the repair paste and grab our good little friend here.
Nice hiding spot. Wonder where you learned that from.
They always drop around 300 to 500 BP, but you can also Zandatsu them, which is fun. This will also completely screw up their entire animations due to there not really being a Zandatsu animation for them. So they'll just stand there begging for mercy and just disappear while you've ripped out an intestine. And this is where I screw up. As we've got 2 new customs joining the fray. Yay! My way of dealing them again will just be air triangle triangle or air heavy heavy. Now to deal with these cameras you need to jump, and at the peak of your jump use a heavy attack. Or else you just won't be able to hit him, especially this one. Later on, when we get the pole arm, we can also deal with the customs in a bit more of an effective way. Namely, use the forward heavy attack of the pole arm. This attack has a special feature in that it cannot be blocked or dodged or whatever. It's completely... It will hit its target unless you screw up yourself. Which makes it ideal for situations like this, because fights against customs can get pretty boring. Like 1-on-1 you can do some stylish stuff, but 2 against 1 is a bit more dangerous. So we're gonna do the lame way and use this infinite combo on them. If you have the pole arm, you can also use short hop heavy, which means you tap the jump button to do a small jump and then instantly cancel that small jump with a heavy attack. During this, Raiden will sort of do a small downwards slash with the pole arm, which will ground the enemies to the ground just the same as this one does. And it's also non-blockable. Quickly get the homing missile launcher, so we get max and eventually get BP. Here we're gonna spawn a few more dwarfs to get a couple of more of them BPs, because you can never have enough BP. Again, this is really flowchart stuff. Just try and get a high enough combo on them. Because I think it just multiplies by 10, so if you have 23, you get... No, it doesn't. 23 combo becomes 270 BP. So this should be 12 or 120? Let's see what 132. Alright, there's some weird math thing behind that, by which it multiplies. Now, coming up, we're gonna find one more VR mission, and then it's time for the hardest boss fight on any handicap run. On normal runs, this is the easiest fight, by far. Mistral is a complete pushover, and especially on Revengeance, you can deal about 60% damage to her in one perfect parry. but on handicap runs, she's a different beast. Now we're gonna quickly buy a couple of new upgrades, including our Stinger, called Lightning Strike. I always forget those names, I just call it Stinger. Now what we want to do is we want to perfect parry that first blow, cut open her staff, and Palm Strike. If you time it correctly, when she gets up, you can do it again, and as you can see, it'll throw her away, and you can infinite her in that respect. Without her staff, she'll grab one of the geckos, perfect parry it, as you just saw me do. And this is the part where you have to be careful. You gotta run slash, but try not to hit any of the barrels. Get a quick combo in, because she can't block because she's in her animation. And that's the first phase. Now, upcoming, we've got a small quick time event. You can actually fail this. It's okay. You don't get any damage from it. And you don't lose your no damage tag. At least not that I know of. I usually just opt to not complete it as it's not necessary. And you're bound to restart this fight. So, we restart the fight. Bam. And here we start the perfect parry war. You need 3 to 4 perfect parries in a row for her to not dodge it. Cut it open, sky high, 1 slash, and try and get a Palm Strike infinite in there. And I screw it up personally. If only I'd hit that perfect parry, that would have helped. Now our main tactic here is going to be dodging, allowing us to deal damage to her while she's in attack animations. Normally she'll just block all the attacks you're doing, making damaging her really hard, especially on no fuel runs. But this way you can chip in a couple of hits. Now after, if you just want to do a spin attack, after a spin attack she does one or two things. She does a jump attack, or she jumps away, like that. Stinger to get close. And again, just keep on dodging. This fight is, it looks easy, but one mistake, one mispositioning, mistiming, and you've lost your no damage tag. And those dwarfs can ruin your day. Alright, get close here. You need to get her to about 45%. Or 50. Oh yeah, it's 50%. So you do a spin attack, and then she does the cinematic jump attack. And it's on to the final phase! Yeah! Final phase, she gains a couple of new attacks. Namely, she will do the ground pound, or the ground spin, the ground rape, whatever you want to call it. You can dodge through this, but the timing's a bit off. Be real careful with that barrel over there. You can use blade mode to prompt her to do this attack. And then start the parry war. 1 slash. You can also use Falling Lightning instead of Palm Strike to relocate her, but it's a bit less safe, and you've got a chance that you'll accidentally target one of the dwarfs. And speaking from experience, you can also hit a barrel, which is not fun. Get another perfect parry war, and I think I failed this one. Yeah, I do. And I quickly dodge away here and get a nice 2% damage on her, which is good. Alright, perfect parry war again. I had quite a lot of trouble getting that timing down at first, but once you get it down, it's not that hard. Now, Palm Strike. And what you want to do is, I'm screwing it up tremendously. That's the fight. You want to use the Palm Strike just as she's gotten up and is about to move again, because up until that point she's unstaggerable and can't be thrown away. I got a weird glitch over here, which is cool, but at the moment it was like, no, please don't screw this up. And that's our S rank for Mistral, which will also close off this entire chapter. I'm just gonna cut her up. A nice little fun detail is if you have the wooden sword and you have that equipped at this moment, the final slash won't break her, so you'll be left standing there with a fully Mistral statue in the background, and it makes me wonder what Raiden's gonna do to that statue. Oh, Raiden, you naughty boy. That being said, that was chapter 1. 44 minutes, full S rank, nice little VP bonus, and we also get our pole arm. Now quickly do some customization. And I think, I'm gonna of course buy the pole arm. And buy the unblockable move. I always forget the name because it's a French. I think it's Marseille de Luz. No, Lumière du Ciel. Lumière du Ciel? Lumière du Ciel. That's the unblockable attack. Quickly get some, I don't think no, I don't. I was hoping there would be more strength upgrades. Absorption's not that handy. Like, you need one. I get a nice strength upgrade for the pole arm. And with that said, that was chapter 1. See you guys next time on chapter 2. Hopefully it won't be a hell. It will be. It will be.
Hey, do your job.